How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Lead Therapy, and thank you so very much for taking time for tuning into my video. Just a quick reminder, after watching the video, please take time to like, share, and subscribe and hit those post notifications. It helps the channel out tremendously, and I really appreciate it. Oregon voters passed one of the more restrictive gun control measures in the country. Oregon voters apparently decided to support Measure 114 after all. It wasn't a landslide in any stretch of the imagination, but it still passed. The ballot measure passed 51% to 49%, with 77% reporting. Though the results were close, with over just 3/4 of the vote tallied, the remaining counties of Multnomah, Washington, and Clackamas all heavily favor the measure. Measure 114, also referred as the Reduction of Gun Violence Act, will require background checks, firearm training, fingerprint collection, and a permit to purchase any firearm, alongside heightened restrictions. The NRA believes the legislation's ambiguous language fails to safeguard gun owner information by creating a searchable gun owner database. The ballot measure gives the power to each permitting issuing department to annually publish any additional information that it determines that would be helpful to the process. The information includes names, addresses, and a whole host of additional personal information that would be released to the public. An NRA spokesman said, "This ballot measure fails to safeguard law-abiding gun owners' personal information, and by proxy, information about families, friends, and employers being made public. Failing to include those safeguards puts lives and property at risk." But they say there's a silver lining to this. The folks in Oregon are not going to feel that way, at least for a while. First, there's the fact that, in part due to the privacy concerns, at least part of this law is likely to be struck down, and struck down hard. Admittedly, that's not a slam dunk. Voter rolls, for example, are public record, so there is some precedent for such information being open to the public. Yet guns are different because they arguably make someone a target in and of itself. The courts in the past have sided with gun owner privacy, so it is expected that this part of the law to be struck down at a minimum. And you know there's a challenge in the making. But what about the rest of the new law? There are profound problems there as well. For example, a training requirement just to own a firearm. If Oregonians are required to pay for it, it amounts to a poll tax. You cannot require a fee in order for someone to be able to exercise a basic, constitutionally protected right at all. Yes, the door for a training requirement for concealed carry was left open by Bruin, but this isn't about carrying a gun. It's about owning one, and it's suspected this challenge will go up the courts and eventually be struck down, killing any attempt at training requirements for gun ownership ever again. The same is true with the 10-round limit on magazines. Following Bruin, we know where we have to look for similar laws in the past, and you're not going to find an ammunition capacity limit, which means that is going to be struck down as well. In the end, the silver lining here is that there's so much in this measure that's blatantly unconstitutional, and we're likely to see it struck down in the courts. That means the possibility of it going high enough that it kills even the possibility of similar laws being passed going forward. Then there's this fact that this gun control law only squeaked by in Oregon, of all places. A lot of people, including a lot of Democrats, voted against this, and that's telling. But it's also important. It shows, yes, there's a line that some people aren't willing to cross. And hopefully we can learn from this going forward. For folks in Oregon, it's going to suck for a bit. And it might be a good while, actually. In the end, though, all the reprehensible stuff in Measure 114 is likely to lead to the downfall of all kinds of gun control policies throughout our great nation. Let me know what you guys think about this law passing in Oregon. Do you think eventually that some of this will be struck down, or even all of it? And as I mentioned at the starting of the video, please help the channel out by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and hitting those post notifications. And I will see you guys in tomorrow's video.